Hello and welcome to our children's time this week. This week we're going to start by talking about a time when Jesus surprised two of his followers. So after Jesus had died and then rose from the grave and showed up alive to some of his disciples, other followers of Jesus hadn't seen him yet, and they were still sad and sort of confused about what had happened. And two of those followers were walking along a road from the city of Jerusalem to the town of Emmaus. And as they were walking, they were sharing how sad they were that Jesus had died, and how disappointed they were that all these plans that they thought Jesus would bring with him had died with him, and they weren't sure what to do with that. And so as they were walking along, a stranger came along with them and wanted to hear what they were thinking. And that stranger was Jesus, but they didn't know it yet. And so they walked with Jesus and they shared all of their sadness and all of their disappointment and how these plans that they thought were going to happen had changed. And they shared it all with Jesus, and they all walked along the road together. And at the end, Jesus told them how Jesus dying and rising from the dead actually was what was supposed to happen. That was the plan all along, and that things were going to be okay. And so when they got to Emmaus, these two followers of Jesus invited him into their homes and asked him to stay for a meal. And it was during that meal, as they were all eating, that their eyes were opened and they realized who Jesus was. And they were so excited and happy, and they finally understood everything that Jesus was trying to teach them. Sometimes in life we make plans, right? We have ideas about what's going to happen in the future, and then all of a sudden those plans change. Sometimes it's not anything we could do. It's out of our control, and things fall through. Things don't happen the way we thought they were going to happen, and that makes us sad and disappointed, and sometimes even a little confused. And when that happens, we can reach out and talk to someone about it, and we can share that with Jesus too. We can tell Jesus that we're sad and disappointed and we don't really know what to do right now. And just wait and see what happens. Because sometimes in the end, we might be surprised by something good that comes out of all of these plans that had changed. And that happened once to Pastor Tim and myself. When we were ready to adopt a dog, we were really excited to adopt a Boston Terrier that we had seen in a shelter. So we drove about an hour and a half, and we got to the shelter and we found this little Boston Terrier, and we were so excited to meet him. And the shelter volunteer brought him into a room with us, and we were petting him, and the Boston Terrier licked Pastor Tim's hand, and his hand broke out immediately in hives and started itching. It turns out that Pastor Tim was allergic to this dog. And this was the dog that we thought we were going to adopt, that was going to become part of our family. So we were really sad and disappointed. And so as the shelter volunteer took him back to his kennel, Tim and I talked about that. We talked about how sad we were and how disappointed we were, and that we weren't sure what was going to happen next, and if we'd ever be able to find the right dog. So we went out into the shelter, and we looked through all the kennels where all the dogs were, and there was this one tiny little white face looking at us. And he was pretty cute in his own way, and so we asked the shelter volunteer if we could meet him. And that dog turns out to be our dog, Zach, that we have now. He was our first dog that we adopted, and the shelter volunteer put him in our arms, and he immediately we fell in love. He started giving us kisses. He fell right into our arms, just like that. He gave us kisses, and he fell right into our arms, and he just snuggled right in. He gave Pastor Tim kisses, and Pastor Tim didn't break out, so he wasn't allergic to Zach. And that made us so happy that even though we weren't able to adopt the dog we thought we were going to adopt, we ended up with Zach. And he's been in our family for quite a few years now, and we love him very much, and we're very excited about the surprise that came into our life. And so I hope that even if there are disappointments, and if you're sad about things that are a little different right now and aren't quite what you were expecting, that you'll be able to find some happy surprises in those times. Will you join me in prayer? Dear God, thank you that you're always with us. Thank you that we can tell you when we're sad. Thank you for happy surprises that happen when we least expect it. Thank you for always loving us. Amen. Well, you all have a good week. There will be some coloring sheets and a little lesson if you'd like to continue with this story about Jesus' followers being surprised by Jesus in the description of this video. So you all have a great week.